Welcome to Polymath's Perspective. Going back to the 70s, we started to see the emergence of Marvel comic characters getting their own TV shows. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Incredible Hulk, Captain America. But then you fast forward to the 90s when Blade got his movie. Most people hailed that as the actual beginning of the MCU, rightfully so. Now, ever since Marvel started to put the Hulk in films, most people complained about Hulk's portrayal in most of his movies and movies that he's been in to some degree. People have had issues with who played the character, whether if it was Eric Bana, Mark Ruffalo, or Edward Norton. Now, for myself, The Incredible Hulk was the only superhero TV show that I watched growing up as a child. And it's probably because of that he's remained my favorite Marvel character of all time to this day. So for me in particular, it's been rough for me to see the last 8 years of the Hulk in the MCU and his character development overall as a whole. Now, I remember back when comic cards were introduced to me in the early 90s, that's when I first learned about the other iterations of the Hulk, like the Grey Hulk in particular. As far as I'm concerned, the Green Hulk was the only Hulk, and he was relatively uncontrollable, and I took that based on the TV show from back in the 80s. Now, when the Hulk got his movie in the 2000s, I was so hyped for that to come out. When I finally saw it in theaters, I was so disappointed, just like a lot of people were. But I did understand and see Ang Lee and saw what he was trying to do with the character and with the movie overall. He was trying to make a comic book movie as far as that iteration of the Hulk was concerned. And the thing that I did like most about that Hulk is that when he got pissed off, he actually grew in size. So when the Incredible Hulk came out with Edward Norton, I liked his portrayal a little bit more than Eric Bana's because his Hulk came off as a bit darker, and I really liked that. Now, with that officially being the second movie in the MCU, I got excited when I knew that they were heading in the direction of the Avengers when Robert Downey Jr. in the post-credit scene with General Ross in the bar. The other thing that I did like about Edward Norton's character, or at least the writing in that movie, was that they had the nostalgic green eye transformation, like from the TV show back in the 80s. Now, ever since Infinity War, people, including myself, have always wanted the Savage Hulk back. Really didn't vibe with that Professor Hulk. We were already upset we never got to see a rematch with Hulk and Thanos, but it is what it is, and fans were especially disappointed when Professor Hulk made his appearance. So after seeing Hulk in Endgame and She-Hulk, and let's not even bring up Scar, because that Scar that we saw was very disappointing. And overall, in the past 8 years, it's been a poor portrayal of the Hulk's character arc thus far. He's the one character whose arc, major character from the Avengers, who hasn't completed his arc. So what we need to see to have the Incredible Hulk redeemed is the World Breaker Hulk. Having a Maestro Hulk at some point is cool. You can have that maybe in Doomsday, but overall we need World Breaker. World Breaker Hulk is really what we need at this point to get the most out of the Hulk. That's really what the fans are clamoring for, is that. But with this movie, it would have to be extremely violent, extremely violent. I know this is going beyond what they would do, but if this was a rated R, that would be it. That would really be it. Imagine a World Breaker Hulk done by like a Zack Snyder, who did Watchmen, who did 300, who did Batman vs. Superman. That brutality, that's really what we need to see from this Hulk. The most brutal Hulk that we've ever seen before. We've seen glimpses of it when he had his nightmare from the Scarlet Witch in Age of Ultron, and that's something else that needs to be addressed in this movie as well. He's the one character we don't know what that vision was that Scarlet Witch gave him. Was it becoming World Breaker Hulk? Was it a split from Banner? Was it the death of Betty? Was it the death of people on Sakaar, his son? We don't know. That has to be answered as well to complete this iteration of the Hulk's arc. We need to really get back to that scary Hulk. And if you think about it, remember in Avengers 1 when Natasha went to that village to go get Bruce Banner, and when he played with her, he jumped across the table and scared her. She was really terrified because think about it, all the wars and battles she's been through. She's never dealt with something like this. He could literally rip her in half and call it a day. Think about it when they were on the helo carrier and he was chasing her. He slapped the shit out of her. And then he came up the backhand to give her the pimp hand on the backhand side. And Thor came and helped out. But he was really ready to kill her. And that's that type of Hulk that we really need to see. We went too far left with the Professor Hulk. And we need to bring it back. Other versions of the Hulk that are rumored to be coming up are Maestro Hulk. Like I said, if he's in Doomsday, that's all good. But I personally would not want to see a Maestro movie over a Worldbreaker Hulk movie. With this version of the Hulk, the Worldbreaker Hulk, I would hands down say that people have to die. Not just standard civilians that get caught in the crossfire, but actual Avengers. If you took out a Thor, if you took out a Captain Marvel, I think a lot of us would like that actually. But this has to be that brutal. And to really take this Hulk out, he would probably have to die. And that would end this iteration of the Hulk. Because I know that Marvel's talking about doing the soft reboot later on. But this way, at least we would get his arc completed. And if we want to move on to New Hulk, that's fine. So guys, I'm curious to see what you guys want to see in this next iteration of the Hulk. Whether if it's a Worldbreaker Hulk movie, World War Hulk movie, which I hope that they do. I hope they don't just throw a little bit of it in Doomsday. I hope they do an entire movie for the Hulk. If they did a series, I don't see that being successful unless they made it the most highest financed Marvel series to date. And it'd have to be phenomenal. So top tier CGI and all that good stuff, and bring in a lot of people, because to take down this Hulk, it would take everybody. It really would, just like in the comics. So I appreciate you guys for listening. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and let me know what you'd like to see happen to the Hulk next, whether if it's a Worldbreaker Hulk, a Maestro Hulk, maybe just a Gray Hulk, or just return overall just to the Savage Hulk that we've had with the Avengers before in the past. A wise man once wrote that one's pride will bring him low. And Marvel, your pride brought you low. Since Endgame, you thought you could just put out anything and the people would eat it up. The fans are speaking. You gotta change. You gotta listen to the people. Let's do Hulk some justice. Peace.